You're lying, I screamed, clutching the salary spreadsheet in my trembling hands. Brandon's face twisted into a smirk as he leaned against his ergonomic chair, unfazed by my accusation. Show me where it says Olivia Garcia deserves equal pay, he replied, his voice dripping with condescension. My vision blurred. The spreadsheet that had accidentally appeared in my shared folder revealed the ugly truth. Every male intern hired after me was making nearly double my salary. An entire year I'd worked 60-hour weeks, delivered 3 successful marketing campaigns, and stayed just a trainee while men with half my experience got promoted within months. This is illegal, I said, my voice steadier than my hands. Brandon shrugged. It's just business, Olivia. Different people, different value. He reached for the paper. Now hand that over before you do something stupid. I stepped back, folding the document and sliding it into my pocket. No. His eyes narrowed. That's company property. Taking it is theft. Funny how it appeared in my personal drive. I backed toward the door of his sleek corner office. Maybe your systems have security issues, like your pay structure. Listen carefully. He lowered his voice, standing now. We're 3 months from IPO. Whatever grievance you think you have can be addressed after. I'll even personally review your position. I laughed, a sharp, bitter sound that surprised even me. Like you reviewed my last 3 promotion requests? My heart hammered against my ribs as I stepped into the hallway. Several curious faces turned toward me, wondering, no doubt, why the quiet marketing intern was emerging from the CEO's office with flushed cheeks and clenched fists. I hadn't planned this confrontation. The spreadsheet had appeared in my drive just an hour ago, a mistake, obviously. Someone in HR had misclicked while updating compensation records. But there it was. Irrefutable evidence of what I'd suspected for months. The men around me weren't just getting ahead faster, they were starting miles ahead on the track. Olivia. Brandon's voice boomed behind me as I reached my desk. My office. Now. I grabbed my laptop and purse, ignoring him. The document felt like it was burning through my pocket. I needed to think, to plan my next move. Everything okay? Emma from sales whispered as I passed her desk. Just perfect, I muttered, heading for the exit. Brandon appeared, blocking my path. Where do you think you're going? Homesick, I replied, clutching my bag tighter. Food poisoning. Very sudden. His eyes flicked to my bag, then my pocket. Turn out your pockets first. Several employees had stopped pretending to work, their attention fixed on our standoff. Perfect. An audience was the last thing Brandon wanted. Are you asking to search me in front of everyone? I asked loudly. Is that company policy now? His jaw tightened. We'll discuss this tomorrow, he said through clenched teeth. First thing. Looking forward to it, I replied, sidestepping him and pushing through the glass doors to freedom. My car was the only safe place to think. Once inside, I locked the doors and unfolded the spreadsheet with shaking hands. There was evidence of systematic pay discrimination across departments. Next to each name was a starting salary, current salary, and promotion timeline. Men moved up in 3 to 6 months. Women? The fastest was 14 months. My phone buzzed. A text from Linda in HR. Where are you? Brandon's livid. Said you took something? Linda had promised me last month that my promotion was just waiting for final approval. Another lie, apparently. According to this document, I wasn't even in the promotion queue. I didn't reply. Instead, I drove to a copy shop and made 3 duplicates of the spreadsheet, then scanned it to my personal email. Whatever happened, this evidence wouldn't disappear. Back in my apartment, I spread everything across my kitchen table and began highlighting patterns. A knock at my door made me jump. Olivia? It's Linda from work. My stomach dropped. How did she know where I lived? I gathered the papers quickly, shoving them into a drawer. Coming. I called, my mind racing. Linda stood in the hallway looking uncomfortable, her blazer slightly askew. Hi. Sorry to drop by unannounced, but Brandon was concerned. About what? I asked, blocking the doorway. He said you might have accidentally taken some confidential information. She attempted a reassuring smile. Easy mistake. We just need it back before end of day. I don't have any confidential information, I said. Unless my own salary details are confidential from me. Her smile faltered. Can I come in? I think we should talk. Against my better judgment, I let her in. She'd always seemed like one of the good ones. A woman who'd fought her way up to management, who mentored female employees, who seemed to genuinely care. Brandon's worried. She said once we were seated in my small living room. That document doesn't paint the full picture of our compensation structure. It shows men making twice what I make for the same job, I replied. What am I missing? Linda sighed. Startups are complicated, Olivia. There are market factors, negotiation differences. I have a business degree and a marketing certification. Jason has neither. Started 6 months after me and makes $68,000 to my $36,000. Explain that market factor. She looked away. If you're unhappy with your compensation, we can review it. But taking company documents isn't the way to address this. I didn't take anything. It appeared in my shared drive. I met her eyes. But now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it. What exactly do you want, Olivia? Her tone shifted, becoming more direct. Equal pay for equal work. Back pay for the difference. And a real position, not this perpetual internship. Linda nodded slowly. I might be able to help with some of that, but I need the document back first. All copies. A realization dawned on me. You knew about this, didn't you? The whole time you were promising me promotions, you knew they weren't coming. Her silence was answer enough. Get out, I said quietly. Olivia, get out. I shouted, standing up. I trusted you. I thought you were different. Linda rose, smoothing her blazer. This isn't personal. It's business. Discrimination is personal to those being discriminated against, I replied, moving to the door. Now leave before I call the building security. After she left, I sat on my couch, trembling with anger and betrayal. My phone had 17 missed calls from Brandon, Linda, and numbers I didn't recognize. Then a text from an unfamiliar number. This is Josh Mitchell. Used to work in dev at Skyward. Heard you found the spreadsheet. Call me if you want to know more. Josh Mitchell. I vaguely remembered him, a developer who'd left about 6 months ago under mysterious circumstances. Rumors suggested he'd been fired for cultural fit issues, whatever that meant. I hesitated, then dialed. Didn't think you'd actually call, he answered. How did you get my number? I asked. I still have friends at Skyward. Word travels fast when someone stands up to Brandon. He paused. The salary document isn't the worst of it. My heart raced. What do you mean? I was fired for raising concerns about discrimination. But before I left, I collected evidence. Emails, meeting notes, performance reviews with different standards for men and women. Why are you telling me this? Because I filed a complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission 3 months ago. They're investigating, but more voices make a stronger case. He paused. And because Brandon's done this before. His last startup had similar issues. I thought about the IPO Linda had mentioned. They're going public soon. Exactly. Perfect timing to expose the truth, don't you think? We agreed to meet the next day at a coffee shop downtown. I spent the night reading about employment discrimination laws, the EEOC process, and whistleblower protections. By morning, I had a plan. I showed up at work the next day as if nothing had happened. The security guard gave me a strange look but said nothing as I badged in. My desk had been emptied. My personal items sat in a cardboard box labeled Garcia. Olivia. Brandon appeared from nowhere, his tone forcibly pleasant. Let's talk in the conference room. I followed him, noting the stares from my colleagues. The conference room wasn't empty. Linda sat there, along with a man I didn't recognize in an expensive suit. This is Gerald Hoffman, our legal counsel. Brandon explained as I sat down. We wanted to discuss yesterday's misunderstanding. I don't see any misunderstanding, I replied calmly. Gerald cleared his throat. Ms. Garcia, the document you removed from company premises contains confidential salary information. This constitutes a serious breach of your employment agreement. I nodded. I agree that salary information is sensitive. That's why I was shocked to find it in my shared drive, exposing your systematic discrimination against female employees. Brandon's jaw tightened. We haven't called security yet, Olivia. We're trying to resolve this amicably. By emptying my desk before talking to me? I raised an eyebrow. Seems premature. It's standard procedure when an employee violates confidentiality, Linda explained. I placed my hands on the table. Let me be clear. I didn't hack anything or steal anything. Your own systems exposed this information to me. But now that I know about it, I have some decisions to make. Gerald leaned forward. What exactly are you implying? I'm not implying anything. I'm stating that paying women less than men for the same work violates federal law. I turned to Brandon. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission would be very interested in your compensation practices. Brandon and Gerald exchanged glances. We can make this right, Brandon finally said. You've been a valuable team member, and we'd like to correct any discrepancies in your compensation. I stayed silent, waiting. We're prepared to offer you a full marketing position at $70,000, effective immediately, plus a one-time bonus of $30,000 to address any past inequities. His smile didn't reach his eyes. All we need is your discretion on this matter. And the document? Gerald added. All copies must be returned. I considered them, these people who'd lied to my face for a year. Who'd underpaid me while overworking me? Who thought they could buy my silence? I have a counteroffer, I said, reaching into my bag. I pulled out a folder containing printouts of my research from the night before. This is a draft of an EOC complaint detailing gender discrimination at Skyward. It includes the salary spreadsheet, which I've already shared with my attorney. Their faces paled. You're making a mistake, Brandon said, his pleasant facade cracking. This complaint will take years to resolve, if ever. Meanwhile, your career will be over. No tech company will touch you after this. Maybe, I acknowledged. But your IPO is in 3 months. Investors hate discrimination scandals, don't they? Gerald's eyes narrowed. This could be construed as blackmail, Ms. Garcia. Not at all. I'm simply explaining my position. I stood up. I'll be filing this complaint today unless Skyward agrees to a company-wide salary review by an independent auditor, back pay for all affected employees, and a transparent promotion system going forward. Brandon laughed, though it sounded forced. You expect us to overhaul our entire compensation structure because you're unhappy with your salary? I expect you to follow the law, I replied. And I'm not alone. As if on cue, my phone buzzed. A text from Josh. Just met with 3 more former employees. All women. All have stories. All willing to join the complaint. I showed them the message. Josh Mitchell. Brandon sneered. He was fired for incompetence. Was he? The EOC might have questions about that too. I gathered my papers. You have until 5 p.m. to decide. Independent audit, back pay, transparency, or I file the complaint and contact the business press. I walked out, heart pounding but head high. In the open office area, conversations stopped as I passed. I grabbed my box of belongings and headed for the exit. Olivia, wait. It was Emma from sales, hurrying after me. What's happening? Are you leaving? Not sure yet, I replied. It depends on whether this company wants to do the right thing. She lowered her voice. Is this about pay? Because I just found out the new guy they hired is making more than me, and I've been here 3 years. I gave her a knowing look. You might want to be available for a call later. We could use your perspective. By the time I reached the coffee shop where Josh was waiting, 3 more employees had texted me, all women, all with similar stories. Josh had brought a friend, an employment attorney named Marissa who specialized in discrimination cases. "You've started something big," Josh said as I sat down. "People are finally talking." "Brandon called," Marissa said, checking her phone. "They want to negotiate." My phone buzzed with an email from Linda. "Olivia, the leadership team has agreed to your terms. Independent audit, back pay, transparency. Please call me to discuss implementation and your role going forward. We value your insight and courage." I showed it to Marissa, who nodded approvingly. "A good start, but we'll need everything in writing, with deadlines and verification procedures." "What about your job?" Josh asked. "Are you going back?" I considered it. Part of me wanted to return triumphant, to watch the system change from the inside. But another part knew that Skyward would never truly be a place where I could thrive. "No," I decided. But I'm not done with this industry either. The negotiations took 2 weeks. Skyward agreed to everything, plus a substantial settlement for me and the other women who'd come forward. The company hired an independent firm to restructure their compensation system before the IPO. Brandon remained CEO, but a new board committee was established to oversee workplace equity. I could have taken the settlement money and found another job, perhaps at a more progressive company. But as I sat in Marissa's office, watching women from Skyward and other tech firms share similar stories, I realized this problem was bigger than one company or one CEO. "We need to make this systemic," I said to the group. "A way for women to share salary information safely, to know their worth before walking into negotiations." That night, I registered a domain name, fairtechpay.org. Within a month, we had a database where tech workers could anonymously report salary data and companies could earn transparency badges. 3 months later, we received our first foundation grant. Brandon's final email to me arrived the day before Skyward's IPO. "You could have had a corner office by now if you'd played along. Instead, you've made yourself a pariah in this industry." I hope it was worth it. I watched their stock price climb on opening day as I worked on our latest feature, a discrimination reporting tool with direct EOC integration. My phone rang. Another tech worker with another story. "Yes, it was worth it," I whispered to myself as I answered the call. 1,000 times over. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.